The story begins on a rainy evening outside a busy city bank. The sky is dark, clouds heavy, and the sound of rain hitting the glass doors mixes with the noise of people rushing in and out. Inside the bank, everyone seems to be in a hurry, some filling forms, some standing in long lines, and others arguing with the staff. But in one quiet corner of the room stands a young girl named Myra, silent and unseen by everyone around her. She is wearing old, worn-out clothes that are too thin for the cold weather. Her slippers are muddy from walking in the rain, and her hair is wet and messy. She holds a small bank passbook tightly in her hands, pressing it close to her chest as if she is afraid someone might take it away. Myra looks nervous, like she is trying to gather courage but failing again and again. Anyone who glanced at her for a second would think she is just another poor child looking for shelter in the bank. But Myra is not here for shelter. She is here for something important, something she has been scared to do for months. Every few minutes, Myra takes a small step forward, hoping someone will notice her or ask what she needs, but nobody does. People walk past her without looking. Some give her irritated stares, as if she is disturbing the place. Others whisper to each other, assuming she is a beggar trying to ask for money. Myra lowers her eyes. She is not used to being inside such a big place. Her hands shake slightly as she looks at the passbook again. It is old, but clean. She has kept it safe all her life. On the first page is a name that means everything to her. Her father's name. She takes a deep breath. Her mother always told her, "One day, Myra, you will need to know the truth. When that day comes, go to the bank and check your balance." Today was that day. But Myra does not understand how banks work. She does not know which counter to go to, whom to ask, or what papers she needs. The place is big, confusing, and loud. Everyone seems too busy. Everyone seems too important to talk to her. A staff member walks by her and says sharply, "Little girl, you can't stand here. Go outside." His tone is cold, without kindness. Myra gathers courage and says softly, "Sir, I only want to check my balance." But the man doesn't listen. He is already gone. Myra feels her throat tighten. She wants to cry, but she stops herself. She remembers her mother's voice, weak but warm, "You are brave, Myra. More brave than you know." Just then, the main glass door opens loudly, and a man enters with 4 security guards behind him. Everyone in the bank suddenly becomes alert. Some people greet him with respect. Others step aside to let him pass. He is Mr. Karen, a famous businessman of the city, known for his wealth and proud attitude. He walks with confidence, wearing an expensive suit and a smile that shows he knows how important he is. Even the bank manager rushes out of his office to welcome him. Myra watches him. She has seen him on posters and on TV but never this close. She hesitates for a long moment. Her heart is beating fast. People say rich people never help the poor. But Myra has no one else to ask. She takes a deep breath and steps toward him. When she reaches him, her voice shakes as she says, "Sir, can you help me, please?" Karen looks at her from head to toe. His eyebrows lift in surprise. "What do you want, child?" he asks, but with no real interest. Myra holds out her passbook with both hands and says, "Sir, can you help me see my balance?" The people around them hear her request and start whispering. "Did you hear that? She wants to check her balance. How much can she even have? Probably 5 rupees. A few people laugh under their breath. Even Karen smirks. "You want me to check your balance?" he says loudly, so everyone can hear. His tone is mocking. "What balance can you possibly have, little girl?" Myra lowers her head but doesn't step back. She holds the passbook out again, her fingers trembling. "Please, sir, just check." Something about her voice makes Karen curious. Maybe it is her innocence. Maybe it is her courage. He slowly takes the passbook from her. He looks at the name written inside. At first, he doesn't react. Then he turns to the last page. His smirk slowly fades. His eyes widen. His expression shifts from amusement, to confusion, to shock. The bank suddenly feels silent. Everyone watches him. Myra stands there, scared but hopeful. Karen looks at the girl again, this time differently. He whispers, almost to himself, This can't be real." The screen, the figures, the name, something inside the passbook has changed everything. But the audience still doesn't know what he saw. And that mystery pulls them deeper into the story. The whole bank feels strangely quiet as Mr. Karen continues staring at Myra's passbook. The smirk he had a few moments ago has disappeared completely. His face now shows confusion, and something else, fear. He reads the name again, trying to make sense of it. People around him whisper, wondering why the rich businessman suddenly looks so shocked. Myra watches him with hopeful eyes. She does not know what he is seeing. She only knows one thing: this passbook belongs to her father. But Karen still says nothing. Finally, he clears his throat and calls out loudly, "Manager! Come here! Right now!" His voice is sharp, serious. The bank manager, a middle-aged man with glasses, hurries toward him. He looks nervous, wondering why the city's most powerful businessman is calling him like this. "Yes, sir? Is everything okay?" he asks politely. Karen hands him the passbook. "Check this account number," he says slowly. His voice has no arrogance now, only tension. The manager looks confused, but he opens the passbook and reads the account details. His eyes narrow, and he instantly steps back. "Sir, this account." He pauses. He looks again to make sure he is not making a mistake. "Sir, this is a very old account, connected to a VIP client." Myra feels her heart jump. A VIP. She doesn't understand what it means. People around start whispering again. A VIP. That girl. This is strange. What is happening? The manager turns to Myra and asks in a soft voice, "Beta, where did you get this account?" Before Myra can speak, Karen interrupts. "Let her talk. And treat her with respect." Everyone is surprised. Just a few minutes ago, he was mocking her. But now, there is something serious in his tone. Myra takes a tiny step forward. Her voice is low, almost breaking. "My father gave it to me." The manager leans closer. "Your father's name?" Myra points at the passbook. "It's written there. He opened the account many years ago." Karen and the manager exchange a long look. Something is wrong. Something big. The manager says, "Sir, I will check the computer for details." He walks quickly to his desk, typing fast. Myra watches him. Her hands are shaking. She does not understand why adults suddenly look scared. Why they are taking her father's account so seriously. Karen steps closer to her. "What is your name?" he asks gently now. "Myra," she answers. "And your father? Where is he?" Myra lowers her head. I don't know. He left when I was small. Mother said he had to go for work. She said he would come back, but he never did." Karen listens silently. Myra continues. "He gave this passbook to my mother and told her, 'Keep this safe. One day, it will help Myra.' My mother always told me I must check the balance someday." Her eyes begin to fill with tears. "But I was scared. I didn't know how. Today I finally came." Her voice is soft, painful, honest. Karen feels something inside him shift. The bank staff, who were ignoring her earlier, now look at her with guilt. Just then, a loud beep comes from the manager's computer. He stares at the screen, completely frozen. He stands up quickly and walks toward Karen. "Sir, please come and see this." Karen frowns and follows him. Myra stays behind, nervous, watching from a distance. The manager whispers, "This cannot be. This account, it belongs to a man who once invested millions. A famous investor. He disappeared years ago. The government tried to find him but failed." Karen looks stunned. "Are you saying, this girl is his daughter?" The manager nods slowly. "And the money inside the account, sir, it has grown for many years with compound interest. The amount is unreal." Karen feels cold. He turns his head to look at Myra, who stands alone, her clothes wet, her eyes filled with fear of the unknown. She has no idea she might be one of the richest children in the city. "Show me the exact balance," Karen says quietly. The manager clicks the final tab. The screen loads. A number appears. A number so big that even Karen, who has seen millions, steps back. He whispers, This is impossible." The manager nods. The account has been untouched for years. The interest alone is enough to shock anyone. Karen takes a deep breath. This amount can change her entire life. But before they tell her, Karen says, "We must confirm one more thing. Her identity." The manager agrees. Yes, sir. We need documents. A signature match. Something connected to her father. They walk back to Myra. She looks up at them with scared eyes. Did I do something wrong? She asks softly. Karen kneels down to her level. No, Myra. You did nothing wrong. But we need some details about your father. Myra slowly nods. I brought something. She opens a small cloth bag she has been carrying. Inside it is an old photograph. A man holding her as a baby. Smiling. Strong. Kind. On the back of the photo, a signature is written. She hands it to the manager. The manager gasps. This is the same signature in the bank's file. Karen looks at her with wide eyes. Myra, do you know who your father was? She shakes her head. Karen takes a deep breath. Your father was a very important man. And what he left for you is bigger than you can imagine. Myra feels her heart beating so fast she can barely breathe. What did he leave? She asks quietly. Karen looks at the manager. The manager looks back. Both hesitate. They cannot tell her yet. Not until everything is confirmed. Karen places a gentle hand on Myra's shoulder. We will check everything carefully. But remember this. His voice becomes soft, almost emotional. You are not just a poor girl. You are someone very special. Myra's eyes fill with tears, not of sadness, but of confusion and hope. The mystery of her father. The truth behind the huge balance. And the sudden respect she is receiving. Everything hangs in the air. And the real story is only beginning. The bank is still full of quiet whispers when part 3 begins. People who had ignored Myra earlier now watch her carefully, trying to understand what is happening. They still do not know the full truth, but they can feel something big. Something life-changing. Myra stands near the counter, her small fingers gripping the cloth bag tightly. She feels scared, but she also feels something new, hope. It is strange to her. She has never been treated with respect in a place like this. Until now, people had always pushed her aside, but today, something is different. The bank manager and Karen return to her. Their faces are serious, almost heavy. Myra, the manager says softly, we need to ask you a few questions. She nods carefully. Do you remember anything about your father? He asks. Myra looks down. My mother told me, he was a good man. He worked very hard. He loved me a lot, but he had to leave. She said he promised to come back. Her voice trembles. She always said, your father left something for you. He didn't abandon you. He protected you. Karen listens quietly, feeling a strange ache inside. He remembers how he mocked this girl just a short while ago. Now he feels ashamed. The manager sits in front of Myra. Your father's name. Did your mother ever tell you more about him? Myra pulls out the photograph again. This is him. This is all I have. The manager studies the picture for a long moment. Then he sighs. This man disappeared many years ago. He was a famous investor. Very intelligent. Very successful. But suddenly, he vanished from the city. No one knew where he went. Myra blinks in confusion. She never knew any of this. The manager continues. When he disappeared, many people assumed he had run away. Others believed something bad happened to him. But before leaving, he created a special account. A protected account. An account that no one could touch except the person whose name matched his daughter. Karen adds softly. And that daughter is you, Myra. Myra steps back slightly, shocked. Her lips part, but no sound comes out. I don't understand, she whispers. Karen picks up her passbook gently. This account was made for you. Your father kept adding money into it for years. Even after he disappeared, the money stayed. It kept growing. And growing. The manager nods. Your father made sure that when you grew older, you would never suffer. He wanted you to have a safe future. Myra's eyes fill with tears. She never imagined her father was someone so important. She always thought he was a simple worker who couldn't come back. She wipes her eyes. Then, why didn't he come home? Why didn't he meet us? The manager looks down sadly. We don't know, Myra. Maybe he tried. Maybe something stopped him. But one thing is clear, he loved you very much. Everything in this account was for you. Myra presses her hands to her chest. She feels pain, love, and confusion all together. Karen takes a deep breath and says, "Myra, the balance in your account, it's very large." She looks at him with innocent eyes. "How much?" Karen hesitates. He looks at the manager. The manager shakes his head slightly. "Not yet. Not until they complete verification." So Karen says gently, "We will tell you soon. But first, we must confirm everything." Myra nods slowly. Then, the manager asks, "Do you have anything else from your father? Any old paper? A letter? Anything?" Myra thinks for a moment. Then she opens her cloth bag again. "There is one thing. My mother told me to keep it safe." She pulls out an old envelope. The paper is yellowed and soft from time. The ink is faint, but the handwriting is clear. The manager opens it carefully. Inside, there is a handwritten note. Karen reads it aloud. "If one day I cannot return, then this account will return everything to my daughter. She is my world. She is my hope." Myra covers her mouth with her hand, tears flowing now. The manager checks the signature at the bottom of the letter. His eyes widen. "It's the same signature," he whispers. "No doubt. This letter came from your father." Karen exhales slowly. Everything is matching. Everything is pointing to one truth. Myra is the legal and only owner of the massive bank account. People in the bank are now completely silent. Some look shocked. Others look emotional. Myra steps closer to the manager. "What happens now?" she asks quietly. The manager gives a small smile. "Now, we start the verification process. We match every document. If all details match, then the account will be fully transferred to your name." Myra nods, though she still cannot believe everything. Karen stands up and says firmly, "I will help her." The manager blinks in surprise. "Sir, you?" "Yes," Karen replies. "She is just a child. And her father trusted this system to protect her. It is our duty now." For the first time, Myra feels something warm, safety. Karen turns to her. "Myra, I promise, we will find out everything about your father. And you will get what he left for you." She wipes her tears and gives a small, brave nod. But deep inside, one more question burns in her heart. If her father was so rich and powerful, then why did he leave? Where did he go? And is he still alive? The mystery grows deeper. And the truth is still hidden behind the final reveal. The bank seemed unusually quiet now, as if everyone had stopped breathing. Myra stood near the counter, clutching her small cloth bag. She could feel the tension in the air. Even the security guards, who usually looked tough and unshakable, were quietly watching the unfolding drama. Karen stood beside the bank manager, his eyes fixed on the computer screen. He had never seen anything like this in his life. He had dealt with thousands of accounts, millions of dollars, and countless rich clients, but what was happening with Myra's account was different. It was more than just money. It was a story, a secret, and a miracle all rolled into one. The manager's fingers trembled slightly as he typed on the keyboard. Every click echoed loudly in the bank. Myra felt her heart pounding. She didn't fully understand what was happening, but she sensed that her life was about to change forever. "Sir, it's ready," the manager said, his voice soft but serious. Karen stepped closer. The screen blinked for a moment, and then the full balance appeared. Even Karen froze. The number on the screen was more than he could imagine. His eyes widened. His jaw tightened. He stepped back, almost unable to believe what he was seeing. The manager whispered, "Sir, this is her father's account. The interest over the years, it has grown beyond anything anyone expected. She has more than millions in her account." Myra looked at the screen, confused. She didn't fully understand the number, but she could feel the weight of what it meant. The room seemed to spin around her. People stared. Some gasped. Some covered their mouths. Karen turned to Myra, his expression a mixture of awe and guilt. He remembered how he had laughed at her when she first asked him to check her balance. How he had mocked her, thinking she was poor and helpless. Now, standing in front of her, he felt a strange emptiness. A mix of regret and respect. This can't be real," he whispered, almost to himself. The manager nodded. "It's real, sir. All verified. This account belongs to Myra. Every penny her father left, it's here." Myra took a step forward, her small fingers reaching for the passbook. She could feel tears in her eyes. Is it really mine?" she asked softly. Karen knelt down slightly to meet her eyes. "Yes, Myra. Everything here. Your father left it for you. He trusted you with it. You are very special." Myra's lips trembled. She remembered her mother's words, "One day, this account will change your life." She had never imagined it would be like this. She had imagined a little money, maybe enough for school or food. But this was beyond her wildest dreams. But even with the money revealed, Myra's heart felt heavy. She thought of her mother, who worked every day to feed her, who had sacrificed so much. She didn't want luxury. She didn't want jewelry, cars, or fancy clothes. All she wanted was to care for her mother and continue her studies. Karen noticed the conflict in her eyes. He realized that Myra's strength didn't come from money, but from her heart. She had endured so much with courage, humility, and love. And here she was, facing a life-changing fortune without letting it corrupt her spirit. The manager asked, "Myra, do you want to take control of this account fully?" Myra paused. She looked at Karen, then back at the screen. She felt a strange mix of fear and responsibility. Finally, she nodded. I will. But I will use it only for my mother, and to study. Nothing else." Karen smiled, though it was a sad, respectful smile. "Good. That is the right choice. You are wise beyond your years." The manager finalized the paperwork. Everything was now official. Myra's hands shook as she held the passbook again, this time knowing its true value. It wasn't just numbers on a page, it was her father's love, his trust, and his hope for her future. Suddenly, Karen leaned closer and asked gently, "Myra, your father, do you know why he disappeared?" Myra shook her head. "No. My mother never said." Karen frowned. He felt the weight of mystery grow heavier. This was not just about money. Something had kept her father away, something that no one had explained. Just then, the manager handed Myra an envelope. It was thicker than the first letter, more official. "Your father left this for you," he said softly. Myra opened it carefully. Inside was a letter, folded neatly, with her father's handwriting. She read aloud, her voice trembling. "Myra, if you are reading this, I could not be there with you. But everything I have, I leave for you. Use it wisely. Remember, true strength is not in money, but in heart. Be kind, be brave, and always remember that you are never alone." Myra covered her mouth. Tears streamed down her face. She felt her father's presence even though he was not there. She felt love, protection, and guidance. Karen, watching her, felt a lump in his throat. He had seen many rich and powerful people, but none like Myra. She had faced the world with courage and humility. And now, she had inherited a fortune, but she remained the same kind, brave girl. The bank staff, who had mocked her earlier, now looked at her with respect and awe. Some whispered, "She is incredible, so young and yet so strong." Myra folded the letter carefully and hugged it close. She looked at Karen and said softly, "Thank you, for helping me." Karen shook his head. "No, thank you. You taught me a lesson today. Respect comes not from wealth, but from heart." Myra smiled faintly, but her mind still had questions. Where was her father? Why did he leave? Would she ever see him again? And in that moment, the real story was only beginning. The balance was revealed, but the mystery of her father still lingered, leaving everyone in suspense, waiting for answers that could change Myra's life even more. The rain outside had slowed, leaving soft drops tapping on the bank's glass windows. Myra sat quietly at the counter, holding her father's letters close to her chest. Her small hands trembled, not from cold, but from the weight of the truth she had just discovered. The enormous balance in her account, the letters from her father, the story of his disappearance, all of it felt too much to process at once. Karen, who had been standing beside her throughout the day, finally spoke. "Myra, now that everything is clear, you can take control of your life in a way you never imagined. This account, this fortune, it is yours. Completely yours." Myra nodded, her eyes shining with both tears and determination. I will. But I don't want luxury, sir. I don't want expensive things. I just want to take care of my mother, and study." Karen's face softened. He realized that this little girl, who had once seemed helpless, now carried a heart braver and stronger than many adults he knew. He smiled faintly. You are wise, Myra. Riches can change people, but they will never change your heart if you stay humble. I admire that. The manager handed her a folder with the final documents. Myra signed carefully, feeling the responsibility of every word. The passbook in her hand was no longer just paper. It was proof of her father's love, his hope, and her future. For a moment, the room was silent. Everyone watched as Myra stood up, her small frame now carrying an invisible strength. The whispers of the staff and the people in the bank faded away. No one laughed. No one mocked. Instead, there was awe, at her courage, at her story, at the mystery that had finally been unveiled. Karen leaned closer and asked, his voice gentle, Myra, have you ever wondered why your father left? Why he disappeared? Myra looked down. I don't know. My mother said he had to go, but she never explained why. She only told me to keep the passbook safe, and wait for the right time. Karen nodded slowly. He knew there was more to the story than what they had discovered today. Her father's life, his disappearance, his careful planning, all of it hinted at challenges and secrets that even he might never fully understand. But Karen realized one thing, the girl standing before him did not need fear. She needed hope, courage, and guidance. Suddenly, the manager handed Myra another envelope. This one felt heavier, more important. Your father left this for you, Myra. Please open it carefully. Myra slowly opened it. Inside was a folded letter and a small key attached to a string. She read aloud, her voice soft and trembling. Myra, if you are reading this, I could not return to be with you. But everything I have, I leave for you. This key opens a safe that contains what I could not take with me. Your mother will help you. Use it wisely. Remember, money is only a tool, kindness and courage are your true power. Tears streamed down Myra's cheeks. She clutched the letter and the key to her chest. For years, she had felt alone, abandoned, and powerless. Now, she felt the warmth of her father's love surrounding her, even though he was not there physically. Karen watched her quietly. He felt a lump in his throat. This little girl had suffered quietly, endured hardships, and yet her heart remained pure. She had not let anger, resentment, or fear control her. And now, she had been entrusted with a fortune that could overwhelm anyone, but she handled it with grace. Come on, Myra, Karen said softly. Let's make sure you know how to use this safely. Your father trusted you, and so will we. Myra nodded. She felt a strange courage rising within her. She was no longer just a poor, frightened girl. She was the daughter of a man who loved her deeply, the keeper of his trust, and the master of her own destiny. The bank manager led her to a private room to explain the account details and the safe her father had left. Karen stayed beside her, silently supporting her. Myra listened carefully, her mind racing. Every instruction, every piece of advice, it all felt overwhelming, yet empowering. She realized that her father had not just left her money. He had left her knowledge, responsibility, and hope. After everything was explained, Myra returned to her mother's side. Her mother had waited outside, shivering in the cold rain, worried sick. When she saw Myra, her face lit up with joy. Myra ran into her mother's arms, hugging her tightly. Mother, everything is okay now, Myra whispered. Father, he left something for me. For us. Her mother's eyes filled with tears. She could not speak. She only held Myra close, feeling the weight of years of struggle and the sudden relief of hope. Karen watched the reunion silently. He realized that wealth, power, and influence could never replace love. Myra's father had understood this long ago. And now, Myra understood it too. Before leaving, Karen knelt down to Myra's level once again. Myra, he said softly, your father trusted you. And now, so do I. You are strong, kind, and brave. Never forget that. Your life is just beginning. Myra smiled, holding the letters and key close. She felt a strange calm. The mystery of her father's disappearance was not solved yet, but she had the tools, courage, and love to face the world. She knew she could make the right choices. She could help her mother, continue her education, and live with dignity. As they left the bank, the sun finally peeked through the clouds. The rain had stopped. The streets glistened, reflecting the light in 1,000 tiny sparks. Myra walked proudly beside her mother, her small hand clutching her mother's tightly. She was no longer the frightened girl in worn-out clothes. She was a girl with hope, courage, and a future full of possibilities. And in her heart, she whispered a silent promise. "Father, I will make you proud. I will be strong, kind, and brave, just like you wanted me to be." The bank doors closed behind them, but the story of Myra's courage, love, and hope stayed alive. It was a story that would inspire everyone who heard it, a story of loss, mystery, and a fortune that was nothing compared to the power of a strong heart.